morning, Richland Rams. Today we are going to talk about equivalent ratios. Our standard today is 6.4b. Apply qualitative and quantitative reasoning to solve prediction and comparison of real-world problems involving ratios and rates. Okay, we're going to get started today. There are 3 ways to write a ratio. Okay, we're going to use emojis. We have happy emojis to sad emojis. Okay, one way to write a ratio is to write using the word to. Okay, so if we're going to use the ratio of happy emojis to sad emojis, and we're going to read it left to right, and we use the word to. Okay, so how many happy emojis do I have? We have 3. And 2 sad emojis, so we have 3, 2, 2. Okay, now the next way to write it is we're going to write it with a semicolon. So right here, this is a semicolon. So we're going to write it 3, the semicolon, which means 3 to 2. Another way to write a ratio is as a fraction. Okay. So we have 3, remember we're reading it left to right, happy emojis, over 2 sad emojis. There we go. All right. We have 2 types of ratios that we are going to talk about. We have a part to part. Okay. And then we also have a part to whole. Okay, now we're going to go answer some word problems that go with the 2 types of ratios. At the store, you bought 9 apples and 27 grapes. What is the ratio of apples to grapes? Okay, so I'm going to have apples to grapes. So I'm going to write it as 9 to 27. Because in my word problem, I have 9 apples, 27 grapes. And that is your part to part. Now we're going to find the ratio of apples to total fruits. So if I'm going to find the total, that means I need to add my apples and grapes together. So I know I'm going to have 9 apples, and then I need to add 27 plus 9, which gives me 9 to 36, because that is my total amount of fruits. So there's my apple to total fruits, which would be A to total. All right, now the next question, we want to find the ratio of the grapes to apples. Now, we're going from grapes to apples, so we're going the other way. Grapes to apples. So I'm going to have 27 to 9. Remember, 27 represents my grapes and 9 represents my apples. What is the ratio of grapes to apples in simplest forms? Now we're going to simplify our ratio. So I had grapes to apples, 27 represented my grapes, 9 represented my apples, and my simplified form is 3 to 1. All right, let's move on to the next question. So, what is the ratio of adults to children? So, A represents my adults, and C represents my children. At the movies, there are 36 adults to every 18 children. So, I'm going to have 36 adults to 18 children. Good job. Now, we're going to do what is the ratio of adults to total people. So, I'm going to have to add the 2 together because this is a part to whole ratio. So I have 36 plus 18, which is 54, because that's my total people. Okay, to total. So we have 36 adults to 54 people. What is the ratio of children to adults? So now we're going to go from children to adults. And I like to label so that way I don't forget what comparison I'm doing between the 2 numbers in my word problem. So children to adults. So I'm going to have children, which is 18, to 36. Good job. Now, the last question. What is the ratio of children to adults in simplest form? So now remember, I'm going to simplify with the greatest common factor, which is going to be 1 adult to every 2 children. So that means I would have 1 adult to every 2 children. Okay. Now the last one. James went to the pet store and saw 16 goldfish and 20 guppies. All right, so we're going to write this ratio out. We are going to have guppies to goldfish. So I'm going to label it GU to GO. Okay, so the last question. We are going to have James went to the pet store and saw 16 goldfish and 20 guppies. So we're going to have goldfish because it asks what is the ratio of guppies to goldfish. So we're going to have 20 guppies to 16 goldfish. So right here should be 20 guppies to 16 goldfish. So I would have 20 to 16. And I apologize, I first read that wrong, so I had to go back and redo it. All right. Now the next question is, what is the ratio of goldfish to total fish? So remember, we have to add the 2 to get our total. So we would have goldfish to total. So that means that we're going to have 16 goldfish to 36 total fish. Now the next question, what is the ratio of goldfish to guppies? Okay, and I want you to try this one out for yourself. So remember, we're going to have goldfish to guppies. So you try these 2 on your own. We're going to do the ratio of goldfish to guppies in the last one in simplified ratio. That means we would have to simplify the ratio. All right, now for our questions. I want you to name 3 ratios around you. And so remember, a ratio is a comparison of 2 numbers So examples would be like boys to girls, or your happy emojis to your sad emojis. Now we're going to describe the difference between a part to part and a part to whole. So just remember, part to whole includes a total. And then, what are ratios used for in life? To make a comparison. All right, Richland Rams, now we're going to talk about equivalent ratios and how to figure out if they are equivalent to each other. So there are 2 ways to determine if the 2 ratios are equivalent. And we've seen these before when we worked with equivalent fractions. So say I have 3 to 2, okay, and I'm trying to figure out if it is equivalent to, say I have 3 red marbles to 2 blue marbles, okay? So I'm going to do 3 red to 2 blue, and I'm trying to figure out if I have 36 red and what the equivalent ratio is to the blue marbles, okay? I can use something we call a scale factor. Okay, I know that they're going to be equal to each other. So my scale factor is, if I want to scale it, I think about what do I multiply 3 by to get to 36? And just remember, what I do to the top, I must do to the bottom as well. So what is 3? What can I multiply by 3 to get to 36? Well, you guessed it. I do 3 times 12. And what I do to the top, I must do to the bottom, which is 2 times 12. So 3 times 12 is 36, and 2 times 12 is 24. So that's what we call a scale factor. All right, the next one to see if we have equivalent ratios is we can use what we call cross products. No, this is not the butterfly method. It's just we are cross multiplying to see if we come out with the same products in our answer choices. So again, I'm going to have 3 to 2, okay, is equal to 36 over 24. So it's more like checking our answers to make sure they are equivalent. So if I do 2 times 36, I get an answer of 72. Then if I come over here and I do 3 times 24, I also get an answer of 72. So this is telling me, are they equivalent? Yes. These two ratios are equivalent to each other. All right, so here we go. We're going to see if these ratios are equivalent to each other. So now we're going to think about, okay, how did I get from 4 to 60 and 10 to 150? Or I could use my cross products and see if I come up with the same answer. Okay, so I can do this, which, what do I multiply by 4 to get 60, which is 15? Or I could do my cross products, which is 10 times 60, which gives me 600. And also I could do 4 times 150, which also gives me 600. So yes, these are equivalent ratios. Okay, so I use cross products for this one. This one I'm going to use the scale factor. So what can I multiply 1 by to get 7? Okay, so times 7. And remember, what I do to the top, I must do to the bottom. So times 7. So yes, these are equivalent ratios. Okay, now let's do the bottom here. So now, if I were to multiply 4 by something, okay, I want you to try these two and tell me yes or no. Are these equivalent ratios? Okay, now we're going to go here. Find the missing number that makes the ratios equivalent. So remember how we've done equivalent fractions? We can do this the same exact way. Okay, we could use cross products, or we could even use the scale factor. So remember the scale factor and remember cross products. So we will do the first two together. What did I multiply 10 to get 30? Well, times 3. And what I do to the top, I must do to the, or what I do to the bottom, I must do to the top, and vice versa. So times 3 and times 3. So my numerator, or the top, is going to be 15. So that makes these ratios equivalent. Okay, so this one, I could do a cross product. That means that if I multiply 9 times 9, I'm going to get 81. So that means whatever I multiply 1 by, this number right here also needs to be 81. Well, anything I multiply by 1 is a number to itself. So 1 times 81 is 81. So that would equal 81. So that makes my ratios equivalent. Okay, good job. Now you do the last 4 by yourself, either using the scale factor or cross products. Now answer the questions. Which strategy do you prefer determining if two ratios are equivalent and why? So remember what those were. How can a ratio be used to make prediction about something? Well, remember what a ratio is. It's when you are making a comparison of two numbers. It could also be objects too as well, like red marbles to blue marbles. All right, don't forget to fill in your summary. What did you learn in this lesson that you did not know before? Thank you and have a great day, Richland Rams.